Come one, come all. It's this week's Monkey Love Punch podcast, and we are back to normal. And on these podcasting journeys, I have my stall that's always here in these podcasting journeys. Let's see if I can get it right. Down here, it's Nigel. Say hello, Nigel.
Cheers, mate. You all right?
And the man who seems to be able to catch every tropical disease going, it's Keith. Say hello, Keith.
Hello.
What tropical disease do you have this week? I'm joking. Yes.
That's the game every week.
If Keith drops off, it's because he's not too well. So a bit of sympathy to Keith. And I've been nice enough now, so bloody bastard gets a star.
I can hold it. Pull up. No, I'm all right.
Gets one of them. You know me, I can't be nice for too long.
We wouldn't be true friends if we were very supportive, would we?
I think as you're giving out those, look in the comments. There's another one that has to come.
Oh no, really? Okay, before we even start, We've got a.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Dave. We'll have to get you back on as soon as we get our feet under the table for this year. We'll start getting guests back on because I definitely want Babster back on. Definitely want you back on, and some other people we want to get on. We want to get Chuck on from Keith's droning channel because Chuck is restricted in the way he talks, but he's very spicy. So I think an unrestricted Chuck would be interesting. But definitely got to get you back on, Dave. So we'll sort some bits out. So. There's lots been going on. Well, I say lots been going on. A few really good meaty stories happening this week. We've got some Star Wars news. We've got some Doctor Who news. Not Keith. I wonder what that could be. We've got some bits about PlayStation. And we've got our reviews of the latest episode of The Expanse. And a story which will make you just go, what? To end off with. So, let's start off with our first thing, which is... Star Wars: The High Republic released a new trailer and some bits for it. It's not Snowflake and Safe Space levels of hilarity, but it's pretty close. This is the High Republic. This is the Kathleen Kennedy faction of Star Wars because there's a civil war going on in Disney for the heart of Star Wars, and this is what they're planning to put out. So naturally, we've got. Have you ever seen a TV show called Vagrant Queen?
No.
I doubt anyone heard of it because it was so unpopular it got cancelled after 6 episodes. This looks like a poster for that TV show. All right? Got your bitchy black woman, your soy male, and an alien. All right? So you go down here and it's like kind of, we've got, we're showing off our thingy. They've got a trailer here, which I'm not going to go through, but here are some of the characters, yeah?
Gay.
Look at this guy. No. Right, here's the funny thing is, right? That's an anagram for Leo is gay. Look what's written down. Hang on a second. Let's look at his name there. Leo is gay. That's what that is. Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
How could they be so fucking blatant? Also, dude, lay off the soy. Yeah, it's like kind of they've clearly tried to make you look muscular, but that ain't muscular. Muscular's looking like Conan in comics, I'm afraid.
You can still be muscular and have this feminine.
What the fuck are they?
They're going in.
They needed some porgs. They needed some Ewok-y sort of things. So they came up with, as Nige put, gremlins.
Furry gremlins.
Furry gremlins. Half Mogwai, half gremlins.
We watched this the other day. It was on at Christmas.
Hang on. The one on the right there looks almost completely ripped from Gremlins 2. Almost. There was one that wears those kind of 80s sun fucking glasses in Gremlins 2, which is still one of my favourite. I love Gremlins. I love Gremlins 1 and 2.
I think that one's actually in Gremlins 1 as well. I think there is another one that wears the wraparound
chain. You might be right. It's Gremlins 2, I remember.
Yeah.
And, you know, because Gremlins 2 is always the New York.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember that. Daniel Clamp in Clamp Towers. And then we've got Ty Yorick, lesbian. All right, now I'm going to play.
Space.
Hang on. They've taken that Ty Yorick. They've basically taken the Predator mask with the dreads on it. And just
that does quite look like the Predator mask with the dreads on it. Unfortunately, I'd rather see the Predator with the Predator mask. It's got the dreads on it. Okay, a quick one. Right. We're going to play a game. It's called Guess the Gender of This Individual.
Neutral.
I think they're a Morai warrior.
Maori.
That's it.
Right.
It's drawn like a woman, but with a name like Ram Jam or
Ram Jamaram.
It looks like a woman, doesn't it?
Let me guess. It's a man.
It's a man, and a name like Ram Jam Ram. Oh, sorry, Ram Jam Ram sounds a bit John Barrowman, shall we say? I like John Barrowman, though. That's the difference between this character and John Barrowman.
But John Barrowman is fabulous.
He is fabulous. I like him. It's like, there's like a bag of ideas, and they clearly ain't got it. So they got that there. Now the bad guys in this are supposed to be alien Triffids. Yeah.
Hang on. Where's Skeletor?
That yes. You're right. That does look. No, it's more Hordak for that because she's She-Ra. But yeah, it's in that. Yeah.
That's almost. I have the power, but no, just no. This is not Star Wars. Just no. This is just more bullshit.
It is utter crap. And then we get back to this. I'm going to see if I can find a picture from. What do you call it? Vagrant Queen. She looks like every black cartoon character from 2010 to now. Riri Williams looks like that.
Is this a comic book, or is this going to be a series as well?
It's a comic book, a series of actual books, and I think they were playing some other stuff. I'll be honest with you, I just started looking at the pictures and just laughing my ass off.
Is this the TV series that
Yes, this is supposed to be part of the Harvey Weinstein's former assistant, supposed to be in charge of, who forced her way into fucking Star Wars, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Where like we kind of hire for talent? No, we hire because blackmail.
To be fair, if I knew somebody who was working on Star Wars, I wouldn't mind being a part of that, to be honest. It was a leg up. You would try and force your way.
Yeah, it's just this woman is as guilty as sin. There is no way she didn't know what was going on. There is no way that she is not culpable to a certain amount of thing. So she's obviously got shit on all the other people, and that's how she's still out there.
That's how Hollywood works, baby.
That is. It's not who you know, it's whose dirty secrets you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And this is that woman from the front. I'm assuming this is the woman from the front cover, and Jamba Ramba Rambaree.
Jamba Ramba.
And this is where you come into, is it boy or is it girl kind of territory there, because they've kind of,
in fairness, that drawing makes him look a bit more masculine. In fairness, it does.
It makes him look like a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, well, maybe he is.
But
what it is,
what the main totally Ram Me Hard. That's his name. Ram Me Hard.
I just thought it meant he goes head first into everything, uses his head like.
You mean like the actually comes back to bloody He-Man with the character with the one that would Ram Man was his name. We had the big iron head. He was a shit one that no one wanted to be.
I remember, but I can't remember the name. It's been years.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm absolutely zero interest in this.
Oh, I'm here to take the piss. This character almost looks feminine.
Yeah, agreed.
Almost looks feminine. Apart from, for some reason, they have just. She looks like she may have been lifted from another comic because they don't look like fucking lightsabers. They look like Japanese swords.
It's weird the way they've done those and the guards that they've got there.
Yeah.
Usually lightsabers don't have them.
Yeah, because they're fucking hot plasma. That shit would melt. Unless it's Beskar, I suppose. We've now got a thingy. If it's Beskar, pure Beskar, it works. No, not Beskar. It's Goldie. Yeah, she looks all right. But yeah,
when I first heard of this Republic, High Republic, I thought they were going to bring in another Mandalorian made or Mandalorian-esque type series onto Disney Plus. That's what I was expecting. Something nice and gritty, made in the same fashion. But turns out it's just comic books. I don't read comic books anymore. I'm not in. You know.
Well, no, there is meant to be a series surrounding the High Republic, but this is the two factions. This is the two factions of Lucasfilm at the moment. You've got whatever Catherine Kennedy's got on people. It is what dirty laundry she's got on that. That's the only reason that she's still in the job. Because there is no way. It's so obvious how popular The Mandalorian is versus anything that she's been involved with. And no matter how many people say it, she is not involved in The Mandalorian. It's quite plainly obvious.
It's quite obvious because they're giving us stuff that we like. Just a quick one. No one turned around and said the character, the black character, looked like she'd drawn. This is the Vagrant Queen thing I was talking about, and that's a fucking soy boy mate there.
Yeah.
Looks familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's just to emphasize a point here that they're too scared to invent new characters. It's like kind of like the black character. It looks more Maori. I'll be honest with you, but you'd expect if even Maori or a black guy, you'd kind of expect them to have a bit of physicality about them, like a crushed walnuts in their arms, that sort of thing. You know, they might not be the smartest. Sorry, no. See, Bobby Draper.
No, Bobby Draper.
Bobby Draper in the what do you call it in the book is bigger than she is in real life, and she's a big lady. But she makes sense why she is like that. But so the whole Star Wars thing is just. But talking of how can I put it? Infighting in Star Wars. Naturally, the day after the High Republic stuff all came out from the Kennedy camp, the Filoni and Favreau camp went, you know what? We've got a Star Wars film. And Kevin Feige is to be writing it alongside the director of Loki and Doctor Strange 2, Michael Walden. So naturally, they had to take a fucking advert on bloody... Oh, Jesus Christ, these are obnoxious. So naturally, Kevin Feige's going to come out and turn around because, you know what, we got a film. There were rumours that I was doing a film and I was helping out in the background and this, that, and the others. And guess what? They're true. So, yeah, it's Michael Walden, who's working on the Multiverse of Madness and some other bits there. He's going to be joining Kevin Feige in this. And it sticks out. It's weeks of Civil War, but it's taken a big shit from on high to come out the day after. Not the week up. Week after would make more sense. But he's coming out. So if Loki is good and the Multiverse of Madness is good, it's a good chance they're going to get a decent Star Wars film from Kevin Feige and that. And they are kind of, I think Feige, Favreau, and Filoni, the Fs, are putting together a more suitable, clever Star Wars universe in regards to what's going on. And yeah, I think it's going to be all right. Downside is I think Pat Jenkins is a bit fucked. This is how, right, I'd just like to point out the following, yeah? That you're more likely to be fired from a Star Wars film than you are to be making it. True. All right? Just from history, the chances, flip a coin. I've got a theory that Patty Jenkins isn't going to make her Rogue One thing. I think someone from the MCU will wind up making it. Especially
based upon responses to Wonder Woman 1984, I would say so, yes.
Yeah, because that fucking nosedive, something chronic. Apparently, there's an hour and 10 minutes in the middle of the film where there's no Wonder Woman, if I understand that correctly. I don't know if that's true. I'm going to have to check. But I wasn't... Everyone's like, oh, no, Patty Jenkins is amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? Really? Because I watched that Wonder Woman film and I went, that's okay. But it's the response that people gave to it is what it was described to as the thirsty fan response. We just want something good. Something passable. If it passes, it's going to be great. Because we had Batman versus Superman, and that's super shite. Yeah, and then we had Justice League.
I think there was certainly a lot of that from the DC camp, having suffered through Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel, and a few other things to get that first Wonder Woman film. Was a blessed relief. So people probably viewed it better than maybe perhaps it was. I still enjoy the film. I do think it's an okay film. It's certainly watchable. Is it the greatest film? No. Aquaman is better in so many ways, but it's still not a bad film. But 1984, ooh, is it bad? Bad. It's bad.
It is really bad, but we still got more. We've got more Star Wars stuff to go through here. So, right, we'll take bets. Yeah, Patty Jenkins isn't going to do Rogue Squadron film. Okay, she'll have a writing credit on it, and that's it. How much money? Let's go to the bookies now and put it on. And then we've got the Mandalorian set up their how can I put it? Their Thanos, their big bad for the TV series in the shape of Grand Admiral Thrawn. And people have been calling for Kevin Cumberbatch? Benedict Cumberbatch. Kevin Cumberbatch. Kevin. I like his Kevin Cumberbatch. His little brother, yeah? Benedict Cumberbatch to play Grand Admiral Thrawn. And Keith mentioned he needs the voice of the guy who played Augustus Magnuson in Sherlock, because he's the one who does the voice on the cartoon. And you're right, he has got a very it's a very calculating, very thought out kind of threatening, kind of scary voice. But there is a rumor Robert Downey bloody Jr. is going to play him. I don't want to sound rude or anything. Yeah, I like Robert Downey Jr. This ain't the role for you, mate.
I don't know. I don't know how much this is true, because one, I don't think Feige is doing a Thrawn film. I think Thrawn is very much going to be the main protagonist in the Ahsoka series, and I think he will then become the overall Thanos bad. So I don't know how much of this is true. I'd like to see Robert Downey Jr. in the Star Wars world, but he can't play Thrawn. Thrawn has to be. Cumberbatch would probably get away with it, but I want them to cast the bloke who does the voice, because he's got that look. He's tall and he's gaunt. He's got the Thrawn look. Put fucking blue face on him in a wig. He'll do it. He can do it. He can do it. He's got that look. He's got that sort of sharp nose. I mean, the guy can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if he can, because the other thing is in Rebels, I'm not sure if they did it in what do you call it? The other one, what was it? Clone Wars. In Rebels, they had it so Grand Admiral Thrawn was he could beat the shit out of you, and that guy doesn't look like he could do it.
I don't know. I think you could be right.
But then again, you've got a point, because he would have aged. Yeah, there's three films, so there's like a good 10, 12 years at least. Yeah, for him to age up, so it could work. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm actually looking forward to the idea of that one. I'm going to pop this down here so we can go back. So yeah, but I don't think Robert Downey Jr. He's not. He should be playing the fun, charismatic type actor, not the sinister, evil planner. He probably could pull it off as an actor because he's that talented, but you'd expect him to be wisecracking halfway through, and he probably does need another role to, how can I put it, distinguish him from the MCU, and this could be that role. And he's had dealings with Kevin Feige and whatnot. So, and Jon Favreau's his mate. So I think it probably. I think it's going to happen. I think you're right. I think. Sorry, Nigel. Just let me finish this off. I think Keith. I think you're right. Don't fucking quote me on that because I don't like being quoted. But saying that you're right. I think you're right on it. That the guy would.
If I had more energy, I would. Form a celebration over that. But yeah. you've got me on a week where. Right.
But I think it's going to be Robert Downey Jr. I've got him. If it's true, if this is true, then it's going to happen. Sorry, Nigel.
I was just saying. I've just had to Google who Thrawn is because I've no clue. I've seen what he looks like. Although I'd love to see Downey Jr. in the Star Wars series, that would be cool. I do think the facial features of Cumberbatch suits Thrawn a hell of a lot more from what the pictures I've seen.
Yeah,
at least on that, in that way. I haven't heard his voice or anything like that because I didn't watch any of those cartoons. But
You've got he chokes on his drink. You've got Disney Plus now, Nigel. You can watch them.
I can watch them.
That only short too, so it's like 20 minutes. You can do it while you're eating your food and then return to whatever task you were doing.
But it's I'm interested to see where this one goes. I didn't realise there was going to be a Ahsoka series. Is there?
Yeah. They're planning on doing an Ahsoka series.
Because her fleeting appearance in The Mandalorian, as the first Jedi to appear in The Mandalorian, it wasn't enough for me, really, and you didn't really see too much of her and why she ended up where she was. I quite like to see a lot more around that.
Go watch the Clone Wars, Nige, and then go and watch Rebels after that, and you'll know all about her, and it'll make much more sense. And you can see why the die-hard, and I'll use that term correctly, the die-hard Star Wars fans insist that she's one of the better characters, and she is, because she's
Filoni's Luke Skywalker, effectively. Yeah. She is Filoni. Ahsoka is Filoni's baby, basically, and she's awesome. Because she was created in a time where there wasn't all this woke bullshit, and they just wrote a decent character. And the fact is, she is probably one of the most powerful non-Jedis, because she's not a Jedi, but she can kick the shit out of most of them. She's a badass, and I'm really looking forward to the Ahsoka series. And I liked how they teased us in The Mandalorian. They teased us with it. But she's going to be interesting.
Although she's not a Jedi, from what I gather, she can use the Force. She has a saber.
She's trained to be one, but she gave up. She's
She trained to the point of almost being a Jedi Master, but she's now, when she rejoins in Rebels, she's arguably surpassed that.
She's more powerful than a Jedi Master.
But there's a lot more to it, because the final season of Rebels, if you go and look at the logo that they've released for the Ahsoka TV series, there is a spoiler there, or at least something hinting at a much bigger thing, because the last few episodes of the Rebels, because arguably Ahsoka died at the end of season 2 of Rebels, and Ezra, using some kind of timey-wimey Force shit, saves her, right, and pulls her out. And that timey-wimey fucking Force shit, the world that he goes into, all of those logos that are in the world that he's into is part of this Ahsoka logo. So there's some timey-wimey Force bullshit involved in the Ahsoka series, put it that way. What it is, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it, because Rebels was awesome, and Ahsoka's awesome.
I think you deserve one of these kids.
God damn these electric sex bands!
Because someone was getting rather excited over Star Wars then. Okay.
Don't make me laugh.
I'm going to make you laugh, Keith. Even when you do your podcast, I try to make you laugh.
Yeah, you do.
So let's move on to this was supposed to be movie stuff, but we're going to move on to the TV stars. Righty. Anyway, last week we talked about Doctor Who and what a fucking shit show it was. So just to recap where we are in the Doctor Who thing. So they did the special with John Barrowman, and I watched it because it had John Barrowman on it, and I didn't give a shit about anything else. They sidelined the Bradley Walsh character, so even the interesting bits that he had in the first series all gone. So all the interesting stuff just gone, full of terrible writing. It didn't top the first episode of the new series, and if you know anything about the specials, they tend to be the big ones, tend to be in the 10 million figures. I think 10 million it was for Voyage of the Dam, and then it kind of comes down. I think 8 to 7 is low. I think 7's the lowest it went, which was Capaldi's last one. But he had his Christmas one with Nick Frost in there, which was up among the top ones. But yeah, look at that. Look at that. 4.6 million. 4.69 million, and then people went back and watched it because it's got what's his mush in it. That's all it was. That's the John Barrowman bump, we'll call that. But it's still shit.
I completely forgot that was even going to be on.
Yeah. And right, so it was on New Year's Day, right?
Instead of Christmas.
In a lockdown, right? And it still did not score as much as the when everybody's at home, because it's not like they're out fucking partying. It got less than the last one, which was on New Year's Day, and when people were out and about, it was crap. It was bad. It was boring, really.
Yeah, it was boring. And then after we did the podcast last week, this news came out. Jodie Whittaker set to quit Doctor Who role after 3 years.
Yeah, but it's only half.
All right, hang on a second. I'd just like to point out the following. Yeah, she complained that she wasn't getting paid as much as a man. Yeah, she has less lines in the episodes. She does less work, but somehow gets the same pay as Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi can act the telephone directory. That's how good he is. Yeah, whether you like Doctor Who at the time, Peter Capaldi, best actor to play Doctor Who. He's better than Christopher Eccleston. I'm sorry if you think that Eccleston's good. Capaldi's better, and it's because he's got the acting chops and age on him for the time. So she's quitting, which is great news. Yes, but it's not what we want to hear. What we want to hear is Chris Chibnall's quitting. Chris Chibnall is hanging up his pen and fucking off, and maybe Russell T Davies comes back, or even Stephen Moffat coming back, or even Joe Hill, the American writer who was told that he couldn't do it because he wasn't British, which I found ridiculous. It should be a case of you can do it, but you've got to cover yourself in Britishness before you can start writing these things. Like it's a thing. Like we'll assign you Al Murray as a cultural attaché, if you know who Al Murray is, as a cultural attaché, to tell you why you need to take care and steep yourself in British culture in order to write these things. He did that Lock and Key thing, which was perfectly serviceable. I'll tell you how good it was when we get a second season of it come through. And it's ironic because there's an actress in there who was in Doctor Who. She was in the Rings of Akadan, who's the girl in that. But she's gone, which is great. But I do want to hear Chinball's gone, because
it could be that he's going as well, because if the rumors are correct that the contracts are up for renewal after the next season and nobody wants it because the ratings are so low, arguably he'll be gone as well. Right.
It's a 3 point. It's a 3
it
point.
Needs a talent. It needs a talented writer, and he, the first season of Broadchurch was great, but after that it was crap. He's not a good Doctor Who writer, and the trouble is you've had brilliant writers like Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat, who were the head showrunners, and you can tell why it's not anymore. That the ideas are not good. The fact they admitted they couldn't come up with a good Christmas episode, and this is why it's moved to New Year's. It's just lame. Look, the thing is, a female doctor can work. Hell, that Joe What's-Her-Face, who turned up for 5 minutes in a bullshit episode, did a much better doctor than Jodie Whittaker could ever hope
of. That's the bit that annoyed me, because she was apparently, the actress wasn't told that she was supposed to be a doctor character. That was kept secret from her until the day of filming. And she did a better fucking job, and that's what got me, because I reckon if it had given her a bit more, because she seemed to have watched some Doctor Who and understood the character. And it's like, okay, all right, it's not what I want, because if I want I'll be honest with you, if I, female Time Lord, Tilda Swinton, she's got that, because the Doctor should be played by a character actor who looks a bit psycho. And if you look at the roles that David Tennant's playing at the moment,
Tilda Swinton is definitely that.
She'd be
she could play the Doctor.
She's the only one woman I think who could do it and do a job as good as Capaldi did.
Oh, I think there's plenty of people out there that could do it. there's plenty of female actors out there that could do it, just not Jodie Whittaker, unfortunately. She's just too young and too not right for the part.
She's crap, basically. You can't say too young because bloody Matt Smith was 27 when he got the role.
But hang on, right? Matt Smith does not act like he is young. Matt Smith somehow manages to sound, and in his Mandarin, 50 years older than he actually fucking is. And even when he was playing a young Prince Philip, he still came across as the older Prince Philip. I don't know what it is about Matt Smith. He is older than he is, if that makes sense. And that's not a disrespectful thing. He was a very good doctor. I still love Matt. I love all four of the doctors prior to Jodie Smith. I do. I think they're all great and they're all unique and they all had their really good episodes. Capaldi, I think, was let down predominantly by bad writing towards the end, but he had some amazing lines. And his final line at the speech that he gives about forgiveness and being good to one another, and all that was the best regeneration speech. I love Matt Smith's regeneration, but
the last things he said was try to be nice, but never fail to be kind. Which Jodie Whittaker's doctor fucking just.
But it was just profound, and it just makes me so sad because I am a huge Doctor Who fan. I've been, there are a few things that I've followed since a kid: Star Trek, Star Wars, Batman.
Let's not get into Star Trek.
No, Discovery was so. Star Trek, Discovery. We won't go there because it's just not even worth giving any kind of breath to. Look,
do you know what? Do you know what's better than Discovery?
Yes,
The Orville's better than Discovery.
Hang on, I just need to agree with The Hobbit. Yes, I agree with that.
Chris Marshall would. Yeah, hang on, put it up here. Chris Marshall. Yes, I think he would make a good Doctor. You know Chris Marshall is, don't you, Nige? Humphrey from Death in Paradise.
Oh, that's it. Right. I didn't know his real name. I was telling you the other day, I reckon I talked to you all day about their character names. Can't remember the actor's name.
We were having a conversation about Death in Paradise, and Nige is like, kind of, Ardlo Hanlon. Who's that? It's like, he's the Mooney. He's Detective Mooney, remember? And it's like, oh, yeah, the one with Father Ted. I was like, yes.
I don't know about the Orville, but I suddenly want to go and shop at Vogue.
Why do you want That's a terrible picture. Look at her face. Hang on.
She looks like she's about to take a dump.
She does look like she's about to. She does look like she's about to curl one out. Yeah, her eyes are almost crossed. I find it really disturbing because I gravitate towards people's eyes in pictures straight away. It's a thing everyone does. Sorry, it's nothing new, but yeah. Anyway, good news: the Orville season 3 has resumed filming, but it's been delayed. It's been delayed, and it's been delayed by crikey! I should be looking at my show notes here. It's been delayed from the 11th of January to the 18th of January, so by 1 week. And hopefully in May, end of May, we'll be getting the next season of the Orville, which I'm looking forward to. Because
the last episode of season 2 is phenomenally good, cinematic. It's a great story. I love the Orville. I mean, Jesus Christ, that last episode of season 2, Orville at its best, and the two-parter in the middle, just brilliant.
It was really enjoyable. I enjoyed the Orville, and I think Nigel, you enjoyed the Orville, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I think it probably helps that I've never seen Star Trek or anything really, so I've got nothing to base it off. I just enjoyed the story and the comedy that they chuck in there. Nice, light-hearted fun, really.
Okay. All right, so it's time we moved on to gaming. Right. So, Nigel. Oh, bloody hell. Set that up. Aggressive adverts. I think the internet wants me to buy cycle wear. I don't know why. Cycle wear everywhere. These kind of these tight jacket things for going out. I know I need to go out and have a walk. I know that. All right. Pokemon tells me I need to go for a walk. Anyway, PlayStation. Sorry. Then look, it's on every bloody page and different website.
Jacket.
Yeah. Anyway, PlayStation is in a decline in Japan for PS5s. They reckon that they're going to sell half the amount of PS5s in Japan as the PS4 did. It's a bit of a weird one, this, because PlayStation 5s here in the UK, you'd have to fight someone in the streets if you actually wanted to get one. They reckon it comes down to a few things, and it's weird because they say that they make a comment about the controller and how maybe the Japanese people don't like the controller. The controller's gorgeous. There's nothing wrong with the controller. And the other thing too is that the Japanese-made games seem to be dropping off. Now, PS1 and PS2 era games, the JRPGs, which people loved. I wasn't a big JRPG fan, but there were lots of people who I know loved those JRPGs, especially the Final Fantasy ones, which they were like 50 between the PS1 and the bloody PS2. They've all seemed to dry up, and all the kind of those things that seem to be happening. And then there's a censorship that seems to be happening too with the Japanese games, and the Japanese are kind of not liking it. A while back, we talked about Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball, if you remember that. And that was censored, and you can't buy that. They self-censored the people from Koei Tecmo, if I remember correctly. They censored when it came to Dead or Alive, and it's just mad. It's absolutely mad with it. And there's things like the Demon Souls remake was done by an American company called Blue Point. Gran Turismo. It seems to have just gone walkies. Yeah, it came out. It's not as stable as I would like a set of games to come out. Forza is a bit more stable, but they're like every 2 years a Forza game comes out of some shape, sort, or description. And if you like Forza, this is great for you. But if you like Gran Turismo, shit for you, because you're looking at the people playing Forza going, "Where's my fucking Gran Turismo?" Yeah, it's mad. So what do you think kind of might cause this nudge?
Well, first of all, have they considered that the drop off has the fact that there's no consoles available? There's no consoles available yet to buy. Of course, there's going to be a bloody drop off. They should maybe review what they're saying once more consoles have been made available, more people have bought these consoles, to see if there is actually a drop off.
He absolutely has a point here, because usually when a new console comes out in Japan, you can get it here, right? It'll be usually a bit more money than it, but even before the official launch, they'll be everywhere here. There is literally 1 or 2 PS5s here, and they are ridiculous money because you cannot get them for love nor money. That means that there isn't stock in Japan. So I think Nigel is bang on the money.
I don't think it's the fact that the Japanese people are saying no to the PS5. I just think there's a stock issue and there is globally. There's a stock issue, but I agree with the JRPGs. Usually, there's quite a few JRPGs. I mean, there's going to be Final Fantasy 16 coming out this year at some point, and I've heard Persona 5, which we can get on our Plus collection. I've heard that's actually a very, very good JRPG. So I'm keen to give that a go. I quite like Final Fantasy games, and this is similar to that. But outside of those, I don't really know of any, but there might be some that are being made specifically just to be released in Japan, like there normally is, you know. But Gran Turismo 7 is probably going to come out this year. Maybe May, I don't know. Maybe, I'm hoping. I skipped the Gran Turismo in the PS4 era because it wasn't the Gran Turismo that I knew and loved from previous gen.
It was, they called it Gran Turismo Sport, and it wasn't as that detailed garage drive run a club sort of thing, build up, and then you have to do that 24-hour marathon thing to get a decent car so you can progress. You know, when you leave the console on all night, what are you doing? Because I'm racing the thingy, and it's like you got autoplay and you've put all the options in and you just leave it on overnight to win you a trophy.
The 24-hour endurance races. Yeah. But number 3 was the last one I played. No, actually, that's a lie. Number 3 is one of the ones I put more time into. Yes, I had number 5, I think it is, on the PS3. And that was okay. But then they went this sport route, like you say, for the PS4, and it didn't have. It was just go race your racing cars, and it wasn't getting your own cheap version of a Nissan Micro or something, or Bluebird.
Yeah,
kitting it out, doing it up, and then go and race and do your best, and then get a bit of money, and then kit out some more, tune it a little bit, and then eventually get your first places to build up your cash to buy a better car. It didn't have that sense of achievement that it had in the previous games.
I think we call that grind.
It was a bit,
but the thing with that is even with that grind, it makes you feeling a sense of accomplishment, because it's like you might buy the car that you want, and then you might go back and redo those races that you used to get the car, so you can get better brake pads for it, so you can get engine tuning for it, so you can get a better livery on it or something along those lines. I think that I think it's a mixture of two things with this decline of PS5. I do think that the Japanese market is a little pissed off with American sensibilities winding up in their games. For example, Dead or Alive Extreme. It's like, we just want to play games. If it's got plastic titties in it, it's got plastic titties in it. Yeah. And then the other side of it too is because the Americans may have prioritized the American market, because they seem to be calling all the shots out of California, and the European market, that the Japanese market is falling down, and that's why you don't have as many consoles out. I don't think it's as cut and dry as they'd like. I think that the other part of it too is the JRPGs, because a lot of people I know who love PlayStation, who went on to use it Xbox, did it because the JRPGs just went, and they went, I'll go and play this instead.
Well, I do enjoy JRPGs quite a bit, and I'm a bit. The games I like playing the most are RPG games, and I noticed on the Xbox there isn't really many on there that I quite like. I was going through the Game Pass, going, no, I don't really like any of it. The look of any of these RPG games. I'll stick with Gears. So
I like Gears. I do like Gears. I think it's the best Xbox game they've got.
Well, yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, it's not even an RPG. And I do like my RPGs. There was one RPG, Pillars of Eternity, I think, was on the Xbox, and I gave that a go. Played half an hour and went, no, I don't like it. Uninstalled. So I'm actually waiting for Final Fantasy 16 to come out, and I've got my Final Fantasy 7 remake for the PS4, which I'll play on my PS5. That should tide me over a little bit.
Yeah,
but, I'm sure soon somebody's going to be, well, for both consoles really, they're going to be bringing out a bunch of games, mostly just for the current gen now. So
yeah, and talking the current gen games that aren't quite working the way they should be. Cyberpunk 2077 lost 79% of its player base in a month. That's a lot of people to lose in a month.
Is it because of all the glitches?
Yes, it's because it's unplayable. It's
because I am interested. I'm interested in what this game promises, but it just isn't.
Yeah,
glitchy on a PS5 still, because I heard it ran better on.
It runs better on the PS5, the Xbox X Series, Xbox S Series, and PC. It doesn't do it very well on the PlayStation Slim, PlayStation Pro. It doesn't do it very well on the Xbox One, Xbox One S, and Xbox X. Even though there is an Xbox X limited edition Cyberpunk console that you can get. So it's a little on the mad side that I find it's crazy when they turn and goes, oh, you shouldn't have built it for previous generation consoles. it took 7 years to put together. You couldn't have built it for this generation consoles. I'm sorry. What they should have done is, I think they should have done this. They should have gone PC first, and then 6 months down the line, console versions. Because I think 6 months down the line, this game will be playable on consoles. It'll take them about 6 months to do all the fine tuning. As I said, Sony and Microsoft should have been sending nerds down there saying, guys, give us your code. Yeah, we won't take it out the building, but we will help fine tune it for our consoles, which would have worked. Yeah, and I'm surprised they didn't, because it was a huge game.
It's a shame because I mean, touch wood, I get a PS5 next month as long as I get me pre-ordering quickly. And I'm going to want something to play after Miles Morales.
Oh no, hang on. If you do get it, get your PlayStation collection. Get Days Gone. That is a great game. A person at work was playing it on the PlayStation Now collection, and they took it off the PlayStation Now collection midnight yesterday. Yeah, so midnight today. Sorry, and he phoned me up. He sent me a text message. He goes, "Can I call you?" And I got it this morning, and I phoned him back and said, "Sorry, mate, I missed your message." And he told me that he played it. It got to midnight. The game cut off. Yeah, at midnight. So he was in the middle of playing it. It's like all of a sudden, what do you mean it's been rescinded? Yeah, and he had to then buy it again. He bought for 54 quid he spent on it, where I spent 15 on it because it's the digital version. And he turned around to me and goes, "They could have offered it to me for 100. I probably would have played it because I was enjoying it that much."
I'll check it out.
There's quite a few games on the PS Plus collection once you've got a PS5.
Yeah, you might notice I've got my gaming sofa ready.
If you like Final Fantasy 15 is on that collection as well.
Never played them, believe it or not. Never played Final Fantasy games. Sorry to insult you, Nigel. It's not through want of not wanting to. I've just never come across it. I don't buy that many games, so I might though.
Well, the thing is, they're free if you've got PS Plus. So and then there's Last of Us 1, which is a good game. That's on there as a Days Gone, like Gav said.
I am looking forward to seeing what No Man's Sky is like next gen.
No Man's Sky just seems really tidy, I think is the best way of describing it. Play it, and everything seems like they've tidied everything up everywhere. Someone said, "I'm taking a broom to everything," and like, we'll tidy up all the graphics. It's slightly crisper. Let's kind of cutting in on that nonsense.
How if I've bought Spider-Man on the digital copy, do I have to buy it again to get the PS5 version of it?
No, you just go to the store and download it.
And it will download the next gen version?
No, it won't, because not with Spider-Man. Sorry.
So I have to buy it again?
It will with No Man's Sky, but you have to do it. It's a weird fuckery with No Man's Sky, because you have to download it. Yeah, and you go, okay, brilliant. And then you have to then click on the button to then say, I want to upgrade it to the PS5 version. It'll upgrade it to the PS5 version. And then it just goes pling, 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 as it gives you your 70 trophies that you got from the game back, which I find amazing. And it's like, okay, I've just doubled my trophy count for that game in one move.
I had to also with No Man's Sky, load the PlayStation 4 version of it, tell it to convert my PlayStation 4 save into a PlayStation 5 save, come out, and then load the PS5 version.
I dare say, again, touch wood, that I get one on the release day. It might be a day after, knowing Thailand, but touch wood, I'll probably be calling you guys a lot. Why the fuck do I do this?
I'll be honest with you, it's probably one of the easiest consoles I've set up.
To set it up easier, have you got the PlayStation app? If you've got the PlayStation app and you're signed in, when you turn it on, it says, "Have you got the app?" And you go, "Yes, I do." And it goes, pings a code, and you go, "Did it?" And it goes, setting it up with all your settings.
I think it gives you a QR code. So you can. I'm sure I had a QR code that I scanned.
Something like that. Yeah. So very easy if you've got your app up to date and you're signed in.
All right, let's move on to our reviews. If I can find the button. Right, I'm going to move K5 rear. Talk some Expanse. Oh, yes. It was good. Did you watch the Expanse, Nigel?
Yeah, of course. Have you watched it? Can I ask you guys a question, right?
Go for it.
The way the last couple of episodes have ended, do you think this was intended to be binge-watched and then Amazon changed their minds at the last minute and did a weekly release? Because the way those episodes end, they don't really end. And it just feels like this was designed to all be watched at once.
No, I think it was weekly. I think they were the first. I think they were probably weekly before the boys, because it does do the following at the end of each episode. Wait till next week, and you're like, oh, for God's sake! No,
they could have put that in at the end. It's just the way those last couple of episodes written, they're kind of non-endings. And it just feels like, it's almost like, I'll just watch the next one.
Hang on a second.
Feels like that binge-worthy thing.
If you read the books, that's how the chapters end, to make you go on to the next chapter, and then the next.
Yeah, no, I get what it's doing. It's just...
I think it fits with the books if you read the books.
Do you know what? I've been reading the Maze Runner books. I know there's films, but I've been reading the books, and he has this habit of keeping the pace fairly high, and then you get to the end of the chapter and he chucks something in to make you go, oh, I was going to stop here and go to sleep, but I want to read now to find out what the fuck is happening. And I think that's key to what they're doing here to The Expanse. They are hooking you in a little bit and going, teasing you, you'll be in next week, I'll see you.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
I think you're probably right. This week's episode, by God, that the guy that they've got playing what's his face really turned it up a notch this week.
Which guy?
Marco
Marco.
Playing Marco, because he's been a bit smarmy, but not truly arsehole-ish until this week, and then he just went like that. He's like, oh, there's the arsehole. You just brought the arsehole to the game.
Do you know what? If you're talking about the scene where they say that they should throw Naomi out the airlock, yeah, I love that scene, because that scene kind of explains the character really well, because it's like he wants to throw out the airlock. Everyone around him should see him wanting to throw out the airlock for betraying him, yeah, but he has feelings for her. He has feelings for Philip. And throwing him out the airlock's not really what he wants to do. Yeah. The big guy calls him out, saying he's talking bullshit. Yeah. And he says, He asks Philip intentionally, so it wouldn't happen. And then the black woman goes up to him, turns and goes, if you wanted the job done properly, you should have come to me, like that. She called him out on his shit. He was called out 3 times pretty much in that one scene on his shit. And it kind of shows a little kind of crack in his persona. Really, it was a great scene. I love that, because he just spoke volumes without saying too much.
Then she ends up being the person who crew swaps into Drummer's crew.
Oh, and Drummer knows something's up too, because she's talking to her. Goes, I'll tell your mum when I next see her, and he goes, oh no, I'll tell her that.
That was exactly what I thought. Like,
and then Drummer's like, some shit's up. And the worst thing
I know what's going to happen here. I mean, it is obvious that Drummer's hanging around. Drummer and the kid are going to save Naomi. That's clearly obvious.
Naomi's going to save herself.
But I need more. I need more Avasarala. And what's going on? Because I don't remember that. I thought she got the gig of being made acting.
But the long and short of it is she's kind of in a position that we saw her at the start, where she's not Secretary General, but she's the one pulling most of the strings. And even he wants her to pull most of the strings, because he turns around and says, I'm the guy who looks after the drones transportation. I don't really know what I'm doing. You saved us from being bombarded by asteroids. Clearly, you know what you're doing. So I'll pretend to be in charge and you sort the shit out. Which is the correct thing you do in a situation like that if you were the leader. You turn around and say, this guy knows what they're doing. You're in charge.
I thought, as soon as he walked in, I thought, who the fuck are you, pal? And essentially, he thinks the same. Who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
He's got, I need the person who used to be in charge. She used to be in charge, didn't she?
Yeah.
She used all the shots over everything. And he knows, he even says, I know you were in contact with Air Force One or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
And I know you gave him warning. You know what's up. I need you on my team.
Yeah.
And as soon as he walked in that door and introduced himself, I'm acting thing. I went, oh yeah, he's asking her to join his team, be the person he asks.
But the downside for the moment is Avasarah is absolutely fucking devastated because her husband's dead. I don't know if they've changed that. In the book, he's dead. She never finds out what happens to him, and it's kind of a tragedy.
They don't show him categorically dead.
You see, the trouble is though, had they continued with the characterization of the husband and the actor from the first series, that news would have been absolutely devastating. But the fact is, they made a namby-pamby arsehole of a husband in the last series, and I'm kind of glad he's gone.
Yeah, but you can see she's devastated by the whole thing.
Yeah, but you don't understand.
Trying to pull herself back together.
She's the only one.
That was the one thing that was totally wrong with season 4. If I could criticize season 4, the actor and the characterization of her husband, the way he is written in season 4, you don't understand why she loves him because he's a dick. I mean, he's a dick. Whereas the one in season 1, the chemistry between the two of them was believable.
Yeah,
he seemed very in the other series. He seemed quite supportive of her, always to lean on, providing actually very good advice to her on occasion. The one last season, I agree. I didn't like him at all. It's almost like they chose. I don't know why they changed actors, but he flipped a switch and he just went, I'm just going to be a dickhead now.
Yeah, she did need to be put in her place because of using her son's name in vain. I think is probably the best.
Yes, but I think again the actor from the first one could have done that. Yeah. I just think the characterization, the way the character was written, was a stark contrast from the way the character was written in season 4. That's my only real criticism of season 4. Did not like the actor, did not like the character, and that's not how that character is written in the books, and it certainly wasn't how he was performed in season 1. So,
all right,
not that sad, unfortunately. It doesn't have the same effect on me that it should do.
All right, Keith. Given the fact that we know the actor playing Alex Kamal is going to get yeeted in the season, right? When they attacked that Belter frigate, him and Bobby with the Razorback, right? Did you think there was a good chance he might actually fucking die? Are you watching it going, oh shit? Because that's making me go, oh no, he's going to die. They're going to do it.
I fucking love that bit where they get the door open, and I knew what was going to happen, but it's just the way that you fucking Bobby's hand just fucking blast the fucking hole through his head. It's like, yes, come on, Bobby.
The only thing about that was I was surprised she missed her other shots.
Yeah, but I don't care. She's awesome, and she's kick-ass, and she kicks the shit out of him.
She should be a little more accurate. That's my
and the bit where because the idiots have got their torpedoes on the outside of the ship rather than in some kind of magazine keeping it safe, and he put the grenade on it, and then they got clear, and then he blew them up. It goes bye bye motherfuckers. Dude, that was great. I enjoyed the hell out of that. And then you've got Holden. He's trying to get his ship back together because they bollocksed up the code. So they're now out on the hunt. And I love the fact that Marcos is really pissed off by the fact that they didn't blow him up and they didn't take out Tycho Station either. That was fabulous. And then you've got you've now got Amos trying to be paternal with Clarissa. Yeah, so you've got that. And then there's the thing with the thing about monsters, right? So he purposely goes to this guy who's shot people and killed people because of it. And because of that, Amos in his head goes, well, it's fair enough that I kill this fella. Yeah, if I kill him, because that's what he went in there with the plan. He was going to kill him and take his ship. Yeah, and he was because he's fair game. Yeah, I'll figure out something. I'll kill him, take shit. So he kills him, Clarissa kills him and takes the shit. And then they get into that thing, and then she has that dream, and she says think of something about monsters. So he wakes her up, and he turns around and goes, "What were you saying about monsters?" He turns around and goes, it was a creative writing thing where we had to write little poetry and prose and whatnot. And I said, I'm not a monster because I fear. Yeah, and we all know that Amos doesn't feel fear. So when he heard that, he was like, shit, I'm the monster. And then she reminds him of the fact that he went there to kill the guy, to take his stuff and everything like that. dude, that was like a bit, and then his response to that is, "I need to get back to the ship."
Well, he said Holden would never let me have done that. I need to get back to my crew.
Because Holden's his moral compass because he doesn't have one, so he borrows someone else's. And he did it with Naomi to start with, and then he moved over to Holden after a while. And even he turned around and said that to Naomi, he said in the previous series that he had trouble doing correct things because he lacks that kind of moral compass. And it was sad and good all at the same time, because this whole season is getting them back all together on the Ross and Nancy. That's the whole season. And then the next season is them trying to kick the shit out of Marcus and Aros. And then something happens. I'm looking forward. But yes, I enjoyed the crap out of The Expanse. I recommend you watch it, catch up, go on to Amazon Prime if you've got it. Just binge watch the entire series up until that point. Really, really good. It's great. It's CQ. Watch it up to CQB, because that's where it hit the 4-episode rule for me when I watched that episode CQB. And that's the one, the first season where Shed loses his head. You know, where they're all sitting in the oh, Nigel's focus has gone out. No, they're sitting in the thing, and all of a sudden it's like whistling, and then a look, and then Shed's got no head and the big fucking hole where the Gauss round's gone through the ship. Oh man, that was the bit where I went, I'm perfectly on board with whatever you've got to show me from now on. Really good. Nige, you can get second seat for this one, because Death in Paradise. Death in Paradise came back. And you reminded me, actually, because I was about to check it before the podcast came out, and you said it was on. I was like, shit, it was on. So I put it on TV. First things first, it's in 4K Ultra HD, and the colouring on it looks, the wide shots that they use, all the kind of panoramic things, look gorgeous. It really makes me want to go to the Caribbean. And Nigel, you need to go to the Caribbean. Just find an excuse. Go there.
As soon as the pandemic's over, I think I'm going to be... I think the place I'm going to go is a little place called Guadeloupe, where Death in Paradise is shot. It's not actually on one of the islands in Guadeloupe. You've got Guadeloupe, which is the main island, and then you've got little islands around. Now, it's actually filmed on Guadeloupe. I think it's on the west coast of Guadeloupe, in the little area. It's in a coastal area. And they use various hotels and bits along the coast there. But as you know, Sainte Marie is a fictional island just off Guadeloupe, but they film it on Guadeloupe. So it's amazing how many murders happen in this tiny fictional island.
Twinned with Midsummer.
The thing is, the thing that got me right. Okay, in this latest guide, the latest detective inspector, he turned up midway through season 9, and he was only here for one case that had a link to the UK back in Manchester, where he's from, and he was meant to be flying back that afternoon, or after he's decided that it's a murder and solved the case and all that sort of stuff. However, he couldn't go back home because he had deep vein thrombosis or whatever in his legs. He couldn't. And so the doctor said, you need to give it 2 weeks before you can go home, before I can certify you okay to go home. And so in that 2 weeks, so he's been there to solve that murder in episode, I think it's 5. And then there's 8 episodes in this. So he was there for 2 weeks and he solved 4 murders. And you think, fuck me, that's busy.
That's quite a good show, isn't it?
Ooh, he's had a good, like, you know, and this first episode of season 10, his mannerisms are getting better. He's made note himself. And what I was telling Gareth is, it's maybe not the actor. I don't know the actor very well at all. Never seen him before. Whereas the previous actors I have seen in stuff that tend to stem from when I was growing up, like Jack Mooney.
Jack Mooney from
Dead. And then you've got Richard. I remember him from something.
Ben Miller, who was in a comedy TV show, Miller and something, and I'm saying Miller and Carter's. That's a steak place.
Chris Marshall. He was in My Family. No,
My Family. Yeah, it was My Family.
Yeah, I remember him. He's probably about the same age as us, maybe a little bit older. But I remember him looking very similar to what he does now, but younger, you know. And I recognise those people, and I can get on board with those people. Their mannerisms, they have different mannerisms and stuff like that. This latest one gets on my fucking nerves. It's almost like they've shoved every last fucking bad trait. He's probably a vegan, but he isn't. He eats chicken. You know, every bad character trait someone has. He's allergic to the fucking sun. Whinges about fucking everything.
Hold on. Right, I just like to point out, he's got what we lovingly referred to as health anxiety issues, yeah. So he thinks that the office has got sick building syndrome. So he's at home being a pain in the ass. So the chief commissioner, Don Warrington's character, Selwyn Patterson, Selwyn Patterson, yeah, he's running it, yeah, and you can clearly see he's pissed off with him. All right, he's pissed off with him, and then one of the characters from previous episodes, Florence, comes back. Yeah, she's great. I love her as a character, and he comes back, and they go to investigate this thing, and it's the first time she meets him, and the police commissioner goes, "I didn't tell you about him because I didn't want to put you off."
I know.
I love that, and
the
then
thing is, I feel that I have even more of an affinity now with the commissioner than I ever did. Because he said that, and I was like, "Oh, okay, right, no, I understand a bit more." And the fact, oh my word, what he does—not the commissioner, but him.
No, see, the thing is, he does know what he's doing, and he does know what he's talking about, but because of his nature, it doesn't quite come across as well. I love the fact that you had what's his name? It's not the sergeant and the commissioner, because his help, Ruby, has fucked off to France.
Yeah.
He's working with him.
AP.
And it's like, kind of, we've got to canvass the area because I've done 19 on this side. How many you've done? He goes, 21. And he goes, wow. He goes, that's really good. He turns around and goes, no, I've just done number 21. It's like,
she invited me in for cake.
She invited me for a nice pineapple cake and this, that, and the other. And you're like, and he's like looking at him. He's furious, but he can't be furious because he's the bloody police commissioner. Yeah, and it's like, 20, you just done one. And then there's some other bits where he's like telling him to put this thing up for the cat poster and so forth and so on. And then he gets to the point that I can't remember his bloody name now. Is it Myers? JP. No, Myers. Dwayne. That's Danny and Jill's character.
His name's JP.
That's it, JP. And he loses at him, and he has a go at him there. He just goes, he goes, blah, 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 blah. He goes, you're not holding up, not carrying out your work, you're not done anything, you're obsessing over a bloody bag. To which he turns around and he pulls out this lipstick. And she goes, a woman who barely wears lipstick has a lipstick in her purse. And he undoes it, and he goes, because it's a USB drive, like that. And then poor JP's like, oh God, no, I've really fucked it up. There goes my career. And then at the end of it, he turns around and says to him, he says, look, right, it's good that you hold your fellow officers to that standard. Yeah, nothing to be ashamed of. And he's like, oh, thanks. And then he's got that kind of, but you fuck with me, boy, and you're in trouble, kind of little smirk in the corner of the eye.
He also said to him, were you testing me, sir?
Oh, yeah.
And he's talking him that glint, and he's like, you were testing me, you bastard.
Oh, dude, it was. I do like that character. And then you had the murder and whatnot. Yeah. I can't wait to see the next one. I can only see 3 listed on IMDb, which I'm a little worried about because I'm sure it's supposed to be 10.
There's usually 8 per season.
Oh, 8. Okay, I'm sure
we've been binging. Yeah. It's on Netflix. Series 1 through to end of 7, I think. No, 8 on Netflix, and then season 9 is on the BBC app. Actually, all of them are on the BBC app. But if you've got Netflix, you can watch up to season 8, I believe. And then you can. That's what we did, and then we watched season 9 on the BBC app and recorded and watched it.
I find it funny because it's the only thing on the BBC I really actually watch and look forward to watching, because it's as you said last time, even though there's death in it, it's still really nice.
It's such a. The thing is,
really wholesome for murder to happen there.
It's. To watch that program, you know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to get the start where the death happens, the middle bit where they're getting clues and stuff, and then the big reveal at the end where the they tell you about the long, convoluted way how this happened. That's a given in every single episode. You know what you're going to get. What I like is the bit in between where the character development between the relationships between the police officers and the way they go about their lifestyle. Really, that's the bit that sells you. Because
that's the bit that makes it.
He's saying, "Oh, do you know what? I'm just going to take this back to the shack and work at home." And one of the other guys goes, "I'll come over. I'll bring some beers." And then they'll show them sitting on the veranda, having a sip of beer, just chatting about life. And you're going, "What a life! That's nice, isn't it?"
Yeah. As I said, Nigel, you could do with a bit of Caribbean. Go to the seriously when this shit is over, sort yourself out with Caribbean holiday. But remember the following, yeah. When you go to the Caribbean, they do things at their speed, and I'm not joking. You'll go to a restaurant. You'll go to a restaurant, and you'll be like, "Kind of, where's my drink? Where's my drink? Where's my drink?" Because they do it at their own speed. When you embrace that speed, that they do it at, everything seems to be a lot easier. All right.
Yeah. I do want to go. I was looking purely because of this program. We've been watching it for years now, and it's a staple on TV. I think, in my opinion, it is so much better than Doctor Who. And viewers,
shit's better than Doctor Who.
The amount of views it gets since Chris Marshall took over as the DI, it shot up by a couple of million viewers per episode. So it's jumped up to about 9 per episode, and it's stayed at around 9 and a bit per episode throughout all of them. The latest DI dropped a little bit last season, but I'm sure he'll probably win people over the more less irritating he gets. But that's just gives you an idea of how many people are watching this and how good it is.
It's one of those nice little TV shows. I was watching.
Sorry. It reminds me of something I heard that the Final Destination film crew said, where they have to come up with new and interesting ways for death to find the person who have escaped death.
Yeah,
that is exactly what Death in Paradise does. They find new and interesting ways that people die on the island to be picked apart.
Yeah,
and
sorry,
dead.
So I'd like to point out, Keith, that most of the murder victims are holiday makers.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I was saying to my wife, I said, I do realise that most people who kill or are killed are people who have gone on holiday there and they've killed each other. There's the odd one or two. The latest one, we know who they were, local people. I won't say anything more in case you haven't watched it. Let's not say who did it, although it was fucking obvious. It is predominantly 95% holiday makers who are doing the killing and being killed. And so,
all right,
really, really good.
On another note, I started watching a TV series from ages ago. I'll keep this really brief. Called Odyssey 5. Did you ever watch Odyssey 5, Keith? Because I doubt Nigel watched it. It was about a group of astronauts that went up to fix a satellite, and as they fix the satellite, the Earth gets destroyed. And then the last 5 people left on the shuttle Odyssey.
It rings a bell, but I can't remember it.
Had Peter Weller in it from RoboCop.
Yes, I think I did remember watching this.
I found a load on YouTube. I found a load on YouTube, and I watched like the first 4 episodes of it, and then YouTube yeeted the fucking channel, and I'm like, you bastards! So now I have to find the next lot of episodes of that because it's as rare as like rocking on shit.
Didn't he get cancelled or something?
It rings got cancelled at the end of the season. It was annoying because he had like this. He had the sentients, the synthetics, and what they've referred to as exterminators, which came up towards the end.
I do remember this. It's a long while ago, but I do remember it.
Dude, it was a good series. Anyway, well, it's time for our last segment, for you guys. I am not joking when I read this out. All right. So, a Danish TV program about a man with a giant prehensile penis has the internet perplexed. John Dillerman, a Danish cartoon or animation about a man with a giant cock. I'm not joking. I did not make this up. This hit my YouTube feeds, and I thought it was bullshit.
What have you been looking at?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the show literally translates to penis man. If you believe the Daily Dot, this is an image from it. So there's a TV show called Abney and Teal, and it has a certain kind of animation style, and it looks like they have the same animation style as that. But for the people listening, there is a picture of a man looking a bit like Waldo without a hat, using his giant cock to put fuel on a barbecue.
He's had that swimsuit specially made, hasn't he?
I imagine he's had that, especially. There was a joke. That's not a penis. That's a giant parasite. That is a parasite, like a venom parasite, but a penis-shaped one. So it's real. I have no idea what the fucking Danish people were thinking when they put this on.
It's a kids show as well.
It is a kids show. I'm. You can hear my voice changing because my body is having trouble figuring out what's gone on here. It's real. All right. It's real. There's a tweet from a check mark, even though I don't like check marks on Twitter, to prove that it's real. I'm not making this shit up. What
the fuck are they on?
Yeah. At first, I was utterly horrified by the Danish show about a man with an enormous prehensile penis with a mind of its own. Then I'm still almost horrified. This comes into the what are they thinking? What were they thinking?
Mummy, Daddy, why doesn't my penis do that?
I have no idea. It was the biggest what the fuck story of the week. It's usually some mum, not Danish children's TV that makes the what the fuck story.
Oh, God. I can't laugh. Stop it.
I'm sure it's.
Welcome to 2021.
My country's biggest kids network made a show about a man with the biggest dick and literally called it John Dillerman. Dillerman literally translates into penis. I'm fucking crying.
Well, let's see how long that show lasts.
Oh my god!
It might only be 3 minutes.
Look, he's playing tennis with himself using his giant penis. What else we got here? What have we done? So we're done with the story there. But so be careful about what you let your children watch on TV, because it might be John Dillerman and his massive cock. And on that note, I think it's time we said goodbye. For those watching, thank you very much for watching. Give us a thumbs up. That'd be fantastic. Otherwise, we will see you in the next podcast. Guys, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, I can tell you one thing, that children's TV show definitely